welcome once again to the Forward Compatible Podcast. This is episode 130 for August 10th, 2014. My name's Tony. I'm joined, as always, by my fellow podcasters, Jason and Masis. Howdy, one and all. Let's hop right into it and kick it off with our weekly roundtable and catch up on what we've been playing since the last time we all spoke.
Boss?
You
name in 1942 yet?
No, but I did name some more Anteater. We finished our tournament, and Galloping Ghost ended up finishing in third of sixth. But there was
if you're not first, you're last.
So last place?
There was so much controversy with this stuff because the tournament was like these 20 arcade games, and you play and you post your scores. And then there was controversy of people posting illegitimate scores. There was controversy of one person posting posting scores as if he was three different people on the same team. So his best score was one, his second. And so there's a lot of controversy. And because it was like an internet tournament and it was sort of like on the honor system, there was a lot of shady stuff going on. It was still a fun tournament. We got third. I mean, after the first week, it sort of lost its steam a little bit, so we weren't taking it as serious.
I think we kind of went on for like a month, right?
Yeah, about from July 1st to August 5th. So
kind of long.
Yeah. But now I'm going to be starting to prepare for Sega Week, which is taking place at the Galloping Ghost Arcade later this month. So it's the same thing. They're going to pick 20 games, and it's all Sega games.
I'll go with you again.
Sort of like we did Capcom Week.
Yeah.
Well, you sort of participated.
I did day one.
Yeah.
I did day one. We got, 13 out of the 20?
Yeah.
One?
Well, your participation got voided because you didn't play all 20.
Whatever.
But
so then I will go and I will play all 20 and have the lowest score out of everyone.
Yep. That's fair.
Because that's how we do.
So
I will be known as the worst arcade player in the...
I'm going to be playing Sega Week later this month. It's also worth noting that a week from yesterday, next Saturday, is the Galloping Ghost's 4th year anniversary.
Yes, so unfortunately, I will not be here for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And this Wednesday is actually the Gamer of the Year presentation.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I'm going to be there, but I'm not going to win. So I might get nominated though.
The reason I'm not going to be there is because I'm going to be at GenCon.
Doing GenCon things.
Representing Gamers Gather, GamerHQ, Forward Compatible. We're all on the flyer. It's true. Forward Compatible is on the GenCon flyer. So again, if you're going to
Bring
GenCon,
some of those back.
Yeah. If you're going to GenCon, send me a message. Let me know where you're going to be and what's going on, because it's kind of a big deal, I guess. First you're going. I have been playing no video games this week. I competed in a HeroClick tournament yesterday, so I get the Uber Nerd Award for the week, which trumps your maiming, because I actually went to a place and played with little plastic figures.
I saw Ninja Turtles.
I saw Ninja Turtles, Dragon Ball, and Guardians. Bam!
That was great.
Yeah.
What did you think of Ninja Turtles?
I'm sorry.
We can talk about this. Remember?
It was good. It was good. Tony?
I loved it. Did you see it?
Not yet. I will see it in a couple weeks.
Yeah, it was good. It was cool.
There was like maybe 50 people in the theater, and there was like this group of like 10 kids that were like 10 and 11-year-olds.
It was packed when I went. I went opening night.
Was it a lot of kids?
No, a lot of adults.
Oh.
I went to the 10 p.m. showing.
Oh, it was a Thursday.
Yeah, I went to the 10 p.m. Thursday showing. And it was cool. I was actually pleasantly surprised with how much I didn't hate Megan Fox in this movie.
She was okay.
Yeah.
She was very, very okay.
She was. She was. And I was kind of disappointed.
She defined mediocre.
Yeah, she was exceptionally mediocre.
Spoiler, non-spoiler alert. Okay? I was kind of upset that Will Arnett did not become Casey Jones.
Oh. I liked him. He was fun.
But I kind of thought that's where it was going with the dynamic that he had with Raph when they're in the van. I saw it kind of going that way.
Megan Fox, exceptionally mediocre.
Did you hear the Transformers-esque sound effects?
No,
that was going on with Shredder. They make the same noises.
No shaky cam.
Very beginning, very little.
Okay.
Opening scene.
And not that much elaborate action.
Yeah. Very few lens flares.
Very non-Michael Bay-esque.
Yeah.
I liked it. I really did. The tomato meter hates it.
Yeah.
It's at like 20%.
Is it?
I don't think it deserves that low because it's nowhere near like Turtles 3 level.
Yeah, no, it's not.
We didn't talk about that movie.
This is officially my 4th favorite Turtles movie.
Fourth. But worse than TMNT?
I enjoyed TMNT.
I like TMNT. I thought this was better.
It's Turtles 1, Turtles 2, TMNT, this one, and then 3. And I mean, and that's not taking anything away from this one. I really enjoyed it. It's good.
I haven't seen the first two in like 10 years. But
I watched them like a month ago.
I watched the first one like annually. I love that movie.
But this one was very good. I was so surprised with how good it was. Really like it. I like it. It was great.
It's a good thing.
So what'd you play this week,
It's
Tony?
a good thing these guys aren't lumberjacks.
There's a lot of humor like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's why the first one was gold.
Yeah.
They even made fun of themselves in the movies.
Yeah.
Like
They're
Megan Fox was like, so wait, they're not aliens?
Yeah.
No, they're turtles. Because there was the rumor that they were...
And then she's like, they're ninjas. And they never once in the movie do you hear Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's
mutant
turtles who are ninjas and teenagers. Like they scrambled it up.
It's great, though.
Yeah.
A lot of...
Hey, last thing, Johnny Knoxville, decent for Leonardo. Not
I
bad.
didn't even remember that.
Yeah, we had this discussion that he's actually a decent actor when he's not on Jackass. That's the follow-up.
As for myself, I played Little Sound Shapes. I did Dragon's Crown and Valiant Hearts. That was my week.
How do you like Valiant?
Very good.
I'm
stuck on this. I'm stuck on this fucking puzzle, and I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
It's a bastard. I think something's not loading right because the puzzles really aren't that complicated in the game. No, I'm serious. There's this thing where these two strings come and you have to put dynamite on both of them. And there's another wire that you have to put that little old school TNT push thingy down. And the push thingy's right there. And I put one dynamite. And the screen's not that big. And I'm walking back and forth and back and forth. And there's one tunnel that you can send your dog up. And I went with him and I'm going back. The dynamite is nowhere to be found.
So, in other words, you can't even video games.
I can't even video games.
Okay.
It's very
I
upsetting.
haven't gotten that far.
It's about halfway through the game,
Yeah.
I think.
Like I said, I think I'm on chapter 2. And one more quick follow-up. Officially, Brian Berg has finished Wolf Among Us.
About fucking time.
So now we can do our spoiler cast, which will not be next week because I will be in Indiana.
Just in time for me to forget all the stuff from Wolf Among Us that made me so excited about doing the spoiler cast last month.
Yes.
Hate Brian.
Is it time for news?
Time for some half-assed news.
Oh.
Half-ass news!
We should go this 5-minute preparation news.
That's why it's half-assed. Let's start off the week talking about Evolve. It was just announced that Evolve is delayed until February 10th, 2015.
This game got a lot of Game of the Year for E3s.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of hype behind it. But what's becoming the reoccurring trend, this is like the same thing that happened, I think, 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Every fall game is getting kicked to spring.
Batman,
The Order, Witcher 3.
Witcher 3, Evolve. Yeah.
Just look at last year. You had Tomb Raider, South Park,
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs.
No. Wait.
That were delayed.
Tomb Raider came out in 2013.
All right, I know it's supposed to be a 2012 title that got delayed. It's the same difference.
No. There was a lot of games in 2012 that got delayed to 2013. There was not that many 2013s that got delayed to 2014. I think South Park.
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs was
South Park, and there's one other one, and it's eluding me at the moment.
Wolfenstein, wasn't that delayed from last fall?
Yes, Wolfenstein.
And Drive Club, which still didn't come out.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of delays, man.
Not as many as the 2 years ago, where BioShock got delayed. I think God of War got delayed.
Tomb Raider was delayed.
Tomb Raider. Was Gears supposed to be a holiday?
No.
I don't know if that one was.
No, Gears is Microsoft Studio. Microsoft Studio doesn't delay games.
Gears 3 actually got delayed.
Did they?
Yeah.
Because when they usually hit it, when they say the date, they hit their
It was
dates.
supposed to be March, and then they delayed it, and that's when they put out the online beta, and it came out that following fall with the badass console version, collector's edition, all that stuff.
Evil Within still coming out this year? Did it get delayed?
No, I don't think so.
So it's looking like this.
I heard it wasn't very good, and I think they're going back to the drawing board on some parts of it.
Oh, well, good.
Speaking of
Survival horror games.
Evil Within, because that was originally one of the guys from the original Resident Evil made that. Resident Evil got a Resident Evil remake is getting a remake.
Yes.
In HD.
Yeah, let's elaborate. It's the what is it? 2002
GameCube game.
Game
And also the 94 PlayStation game. 96.
8.
No,
Nine.
was it?
Director's Cut was it 98.
Well, anyway, it's getting a remake for the PS3, and 360 coming out in Japan this year.
Mm-hmm.
But then next year we'll be getting it in the US, and there's also going to be PS4 and Xbox One versions.
Yes. And they've announced that they will have a more modern control scheme, which means no tank control.
Optional control.
Yes.
I don't know about you guys, but I will 100% still be playing with the original controls. I love them.
I tried to go back and play Remake like 2 years ago,
Oh, I love it.
and like I could barely get
I
get
love
Chris Redfield to walk straight.
I had no problem with the tank controls.
Mm.
Well, you know what game I have a lot of control with? It's sort of tank controls. Heavy Rain. I hate those controls.
Those are awful.
That is the worst controlled game that's good that I've ever played.
Do it.
Jason! Jason!
But I actually really like.
130 episodes later, and that is probably the only joke that has lived on that long.
I liked the Resident Evil remake and Zero controls from the GameCube. Two of my favorite games ever. I'm really excited about this. I do hope it's not just a straight graphical remake, which it sounds like it is. They're just doing new making widescreen and everything.
Did you hear about this, right? With them upscaling it, there's going to be a scroll feature because it doesn't fit everything onto the screen anymore.
I don't really know what that means.
I don't know what it means either, but I guess...
No, it's going to be stretched because the game was made for 480 instead of 1080.
Yeah, so you can scroll, like when you walk into a hallway, you can hold down like R2 and push the analog stick to
And it'll move
the
a
camera.
little.
To see more.
Yes.
Okay.
It's wide screen now or whatever.
Yeah.
I think they're going to first blow it up, and then you're going to be able to...
So
Not a ton, but I think you're going to be able to peek a little this way and a little this
Yeah.
way.
That's okay then.
Yeah.
I hope they change. It would be nice to see if there's a few additional features. Maybe
What would you like to see?
I don't want to just reach out over the same exact puzzles and the same exact areas and the same exact story.
Hero mode?
Well, they've always had hero mode
Yeah.
in those games, but
Just move everything around? Master Quest?
I don't know. Like when they remade the game on the GameCube, they changed so much. It's almost a different game.
Yeah.
It essentially is.
I don't want they don't necessarily need to do that, but I don't know. I'm gonna get it. I'm a big fan of the first game, but I know this is Capcom, which is the laziest company in video game history.
This is true.
I think they're gonna put some work in because they also released this digitally, and I think it's on sale right now for like $4, like right now on PS3 and Xbox 360. They kind of had the lazy upported thing, and they sold it for $20 of Resident Evil
4 and Code Veronica? I know it was 4. Was it 5?
As well?
Yeah. I know it was definitely 4.
And well, the point I'm trying to make is they sold those things digitally for like $15 or $20.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this is like a retail release, and if they're gonna charge people $50 or $60, they got to put some work in it. You can't just up-res this game.
Don't forget
So,
there's going to be a shitty collector's edition with some patches and some stickers.
some leather coat available only in Japan. Remember that fucking thing?
For like
Leon
$1,600.
$800.
Oh shit!
Speaking of crappy ports.
Well, I do hope that this leads to a full-blown remake of Part 2 and 3. I really hope that.
I'm assuming that's where they're going because if there was ever a series that desperately needed
a fresh start.
yeah, it's Resident Evil.
I hope so because I really like
The
everything.
story doesn't even make sense anymore. It's like a when did it start in the 90s? It's like 20-year-old continual storyline. It's just like it's so diluted now.
I love Resident Evil 0, 1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica. Classics. Some of my favorite games ever. Especially the GameCube ones. I can't really go back to the PlayStation ones. They're too dated. But I'd love to see them remade.
Well, 4 is where they made that
I don't like 4 at all.
pivotal thing. I like 4
don't
a
talk
lot,
about 4.
but it's the one where they went completely away from survival horror and started incorporating the action. That's where they kind of hit that thing, and then they went way that way.
What game?
Huh?
What game
In
is this?
4, it took more of an action
I
pace
thought
to
Code
it.
Veronica was the last one in the series.
No.
Oh.
Just like Secret of the Ooze was the last Ninja Turtles. Yeah, he's right.
They really need to make. I mean, Code Veronica came out in 2000 on the Dreamcast.
Where's the sequel?
It's been 14 years and we haven't gotten a Resident Evil game.
If only that were true.
Oh man, no, they made that one.
The past
No, they made that
years.
one that was pretty good with the draft getting blown on the on the cover art. 6.
It's like a giraffe getting a blowjob. Yeah. I think we just blew his mind. So, like I was trying to say, speaking of
where was 4? Where's 5?
speaking of crappy ports,
Okay.
BioShock
Oh my God, you're gonna get slapped.
is coming to iOS.
Yeah. This is a big deal.
Wait, raise your hand if you care. Okay. Why do you care, Tony?
Because not that it's coming to iOS. That okay. So when the Vita officially got announced, Ken Levine, the creator of BioShock, came out on stage, promised everybody a Vita exclusive BioShock game. That later never came out, and now they're essentially a dissolved company that is like 4 or 5 people, and they're making mobile games.
Yeah.
And so now they're porting the Vita the
Vita
original 2007 Game of the Year BioShock to iOS.
Uh-huh.
And they're dumbing it down, and the graphics are going to suck, and it's going to have crappy
Graphically, it
controls.
didn't look too bad.
They have to.
It's
Why do
downgraded.
they have to downgrade the graphics?
Processor.
The new Apple doesn't.
It's not the display; it's the
Tablets?
processor.
The new tablet's not as strong
Well,
as the PS3.
no. Apple makes you have to run things like 2 or 3 generations ago, right?
So,
like
if
you don't. It doesn't have to run on like iPad 1, but it's still got to run on like 2 and 3.
Yeah,
I see.
So
Okay.
it's got to be compatible with at least the last 2 years worth of technology. Well, not always, but for the most part.
Anyway, they came out and said, yeah, they're downgrading the resolution. They're switching the.
It still
It's
looks.
on,
it
it's
still
on
looks
an
pretty good.
iPad. It's a smaller screen, so it's okay.
Yeah.
And then they're going to make it all touch control and stuff. And then a lot of people on the forums and stuff that I visit for the Vita and all that were thinking,
All 6
baby,
people.
it's big. It's a big community. There's like 9 million Vitas out there now.
So
It's getting bigger.
Tony has 3 accounts.
Yeah,
Done
it's just me.
differently.
It's just me. I'm talking to myself in the forums, and they're thinking now. Well, maybe the iOS one will eventually get ported because they're halfway there because they're converting it to portable anyway, and I don't really want that because I think it's gonna be a crappy, dumbed down version. Plus, we're supposed to get a BioShock skinned Tactics Ogre type style game. And I thought that would have been pretty badass, but this is bullshit. Because Ken Levine promised the mobile one was coming to the Vita, and now he's bringing it to Apple.
Okay,
It's bullshit.
the guys who made BioShock, what's the company name again?
Irrational.
And they're gone, essentially.
Dissolved into a mobile game.
Okay, so what's going to happen to BioShock franchise?
2K still technically owns it, so they can pump out more. But the genius Ken Levine, who makes because they're fun shooters, but it's the story.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The shooting and
So
action
it's
is
the polar
secondary.
opposite of Borderlands. So if they hand it over to Gearbox will ruin it.
Yes,
Gearbox, like, you don't care about the story. You're playing
It's-
Borderlands just to blow shit
it's a
up.
very good analogy. It's the polar opposite. That's all about the shooting and looting.
Yeah.
BioShock's all about the story. It's a good, competent shooter, but
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with that. It's the story, and Ken Levine's the guy who writes it. So as soon as he's done, I don't think it's going to do very well. He didn't write BioShock 2, and it was a fun game, but it was the weak point of the worst in the franchise.
Speaking of companies that are dissolving, let's jump in and talk about some Crytek.
Crytek USA.
It's nothing but fucking segues
So,
today.
yeah, I'll talk about this. Is a little close to my heart because a lot of the Crytek USA people are people that worked at Visual Games, the makers of Darksiders and Darksiders 2.
They're my
I know
friends.
celebrities.
Love
I go out to lunch with video game makers.
I do.
They fly me out to LA and give me a big fucking sword.
They didn't give me the sword.
I don't know. Just saying.
They gave me the headphones.
We're gonna go with that. They gave you the sword.
They give me big
Sounds better that way.
swords.
Anyway,
Tony gets to play with my sword.
Tony plays with my sword.
so David Adams, the head of the team at Crytek USA, he stopped getting paid a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
They
we
just stopped
reported
paying.
last week that he walked off. Correct.
So he decided, the hell with this shit. I'm leaving,
Yeah.
and he left. And then
He now
apparently,
works for Zelda Dungeon.
apparently a good portion of the Crytek USA and the Crytek people in the UK or just stop getting paid. And the Crytek eventually gave out the reason, well, we didn't want to fire people. And we had revenue coming in the stream later or something, so we just delayed payment, but claims everybody got paid now.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell this to the people, whatever. Everybody left. Crytek USA was working on a game for over a year. It's gone. Now all Crytek USA people, the people left, all they're doing now is support for the Cry engine, the new Cry engine. But Crytek USA, David he formed a new company called, I think, new indie company, Gunshot or something like that.
Okay.
And the big news for me is they're talking with the guys from Nordic Games about potentially working on Darksiders 3.
Nice.
However, David Adams did say that he'd like to work on a smaller project first. Because that, I mean, if they started right now...
porting Darksiders over to iOS.
If they started Darksiders 3 right now, we wouldn't see it for 4 years, probably, or 3 years, or whatever. So I think they're going to do something small first.
To bring some income.
Yeah, because they have to do something. They need to be funded somewhere. So
you actually left last week. While we were in the middle of this discussion, we didn't get to ask you the question. Do you think that Crytek is going the way of THQ?
No.
No.
See, Crytek had the problem of they kept buying people and they kept buying studios, and they were trying to become bigger than what they were.
Okay.
And I forgot some of the other guys. Didn't they buy the Homefront series? Didn't that get?
They sold it now.
Yeah, and then they bought Vigil Games, and they bought. They were buying all these developers and all this, and they just weren't ready for that. And I think they overstepped a little bit, and now I think they're regressing back to what they're living in their
within their means.
Within their means. That's what I'm looking for. But I don't think they're going to go out yet. We'll see. Maybe they do. Who gives a shit? I don't care.
As long as Darksiders comes out, right?
David Adams is my boy. He's like my favorite person in the industry.
Nice.
I like him. He's a big Zelda fan too.
You should tell him, send him a message like I talked about you on this podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, whatever he does, whatever game he makes, I'm going to buy from now until eternity.
Nice. Speaking of THQ and selling off titles, we're going to talk about WWE 2K15.
That was the weaker one of the day. But
I know.
You got 4 out of 5.
I'm running out of some steam
You know
here.
the THQ name is back, by the way?
Is it?
Nordic Games is going to start publishing games. They bought the THQ name.
You know what else?
$10.
You know what else I didn't put on our news this week is Sierra's coming back. As a PC publisher.
Okay.
Under, I believe, EA.
Maxis.
Yeah.
They were under Maxis, which is under E.
Yeah. So Sierra's coming back
Nice.
as a PC publisher. Anyways,
Anything to get EA off the name.
Can I do this one? Because I want your comments.
Sure.
All right. So the WWE special edition was
2K15 Collector's Edition.
Yeah. So the normal game is $60. This is $100. All right. You're gonna get some. It's like the Hulkamania edition.
Yes.
Because last year they did Undertaker, right?
Ultimate Warrior, I thought.
Last year was
Warrior.
no. He was the DLC character.
Oh, okay.
Last year was
No, Undertaker was 2 years ago,
No.
wasn't it? Because it was the WrestleMania Challenge or whatever.
That was last year, and then the year before that was Stone Cold Edition.
Okay. So anyway, this year they're doing
Yeah, I'm just thinking who was on the
they're doing Hogan. You're gonna get some exclusive skins. You're gonna get the Sting.
2 skins from Hogan, 2 skins for Sting.
Yeah, and then the coolest part is the part that makes it limited. Okay, so there's 25,000 limited copies of this. Okay, you're gonna get an actual, not a reprinted one that they Xerox 100 times, a truly signed portrait from Hulk Hogan. He has to go through and actually sign 25,000 pictures.
Yep.
And you're getting one of those, and you're also gonna get a piece of the mat, which I think this is bullcrap. Because who's going to know the difference? I bet they have to cut up 3 or 4 mats for this. I know, I get it. You're getting a piece like this. The mat's not that big. I don't know. But anyway, they're splitting this
actual
piece of the canvas.
from him on, what was it, a Monday Night Raw?
The Monday Night Raw, which he returned.
Yeah. And so they actually cut up the actual canvas that Hogan was on, and you're going to get a small portion of that. And then, of course, you get the game.
25,000?
Yeah.
Oh, they can make one map for sure.
Well, here's
Those
the way that this works. This is not the first time that they've offered sections of the map. I have a piece of the mat from WrestleMania 13 in a plaque. That's autographed. So they do this quite frequently. Also, what you don't know is that, like you said, there's one canvas, but they may use two that night. So during commercial break,
That's
like
not important.
if somebody gets blood on them,
How big is the ring? Do you know?
25 or 20. They do 20 by 20.
20 feet by 20 feet?
Yes.
Because just think if it's
okay.
just think
Even if you do a square inch, that's a lot.
if it's, are there 1 inch by 1 inch? So let's just say it's 100 inches by 100 inches. That would be like 8 by 8 feet.
Yeah.
100 by 100.
Yeah.
You're talking that's 10,000.
So.
So.
But no, it's actually really cool.
That's hard.
From the wrestling fan standpoint, Hogan is the one person that I have not met because just to go meet him, shake his hand, and get an autograph is $100, not including a photo with him. So not only do you get his autograph, but you get the game, you get all the extra stuff, and it's kind of cool to have the little piece of the canvas because they are numbered and everything. So I'm probably going to get this. Usually, though, they only sell the collector's editions exclusively through WWE.com. GameStop did the Undertaker edition last year after the game came out.
Well, because I was going to say, you get WWE every year.
Yes.
And you're going to spend $60 for $40 to me personally, and I'm not even close to your level of wrestling fan. For $40, that's pretty cool. An actual autographed picture of Hogan, a piece of the ring, plus that typical bullshit extra for getting the special edition DLC.
Yeah, they usually throw in like a best of Raw DVD. It's got like 5 and 6 matches, shit like that on there. But yeah, no, I haven't bought one yet. But I'll consider.
Well, a lot of special editions to me are dumb.
Yeah,
it's pretty dumb, useless crap to surcharge for.
Especially
the game that you're offering.
WWE ones. Let's see. Really
this
quick.
one seems cool though.
The 2 years ago it was the Stone Cold edition. Came in a metal tin with his skull on it, and you got his entrance where he rides down on the 4-wheeler. Last year it was Undertaker edition, which came in a casket shaped box, and you got him riding down on a motorcycle. You got the American Badass version. The thing is they released these characters 6 months later, so there was no real reason to buy. You buy it for $1 6 months later if you really want them. But I would say that the content included in this one would make it worth it. It's pretty cool.
All right, that'll do it for the dirty, sexy, incompetent.
Cut off my half-assed news. I'm the one that wraps up half-assed news, and that will conclude this week's half-assed news.
Tony's out of the week. Moscow in a rush. So we're gonna try to get you out of here, sir.
I'm not in a rush.
You got that?
Just go.
Yeah.
Just hurry up.
Oh my God!
I'm not in a rush. Just hurry up.
Okay, so
why is everybody running? When they got the adrenaline shots.
Oh, Ninja Turtles.
All right. Are we familiar with Dan Edelman?
No.
Ex Nintendo employee. Used to be.
Wait. Yes, this is coming back to me. He was in charge of Nintendo. He was go on. I know the story now.
Indie.
He left.
He was the indie boss. He recently left. And
he was a big pioneer in getting people to indies to get on board with Nintendo.
Yeah. And he was asked, thinks Nintendo deserves the mess they're in right now with the sluggish Wii U sales. And that in itself is not that big of a deal, but his response is what
I don't even know what he said.
I wanted to talk about. Wii U is not selling as well as it deserves to. It has a lot to offer with great games you can't get anywhere else. The value of the gamepad hasn't been justified. But the name Wii U is abysmal. I think that cuts sales in half right there. So he's saying that the Wii U gamepad hasn't been justified yet.
But he's saying it's not selling as good as it should.
Yeah, and the name cut sales in half.
No, I don't agree at all.
Well, this is the topic, sir.
I think the games. They did not release the games in the proper order they should have. I thought their launch was okay. I thought with the Nintendo Land, New Super Mario Brothers, and they had a third-party exclusive with Zombie U, and then like a bunch of backlog games that not many people cared about. I thought that was okay for a launch lineup. I actually say that was stronger than the PS4 or the 3 or the 1 launch lineups. But the problem was the 6 months to come after that, when there was nothing. They were promised games too. Like Pikmin 3 got pushed from launch title to launch window to 9 months after the console came out. That's too long. I I mean, if I were Nintendo, I could go back in time. This Mario Kart that just came out. Think of all the buzz that's been generated around the Wii U right now with Mario Kart. Mario Kart was here a year and a half ago, and this buzz was happening then.
So it would have been a different story because the PS4 and the Xbox One weren't out yet.
Yeah.
People were hungry for a new console.
Like Mario Kart has been it's like the game of the system right now. Everybody wants it. Everybody's getting it, and there's a lot of hype. But I think there's this negative buzz around the Wii U where people are not really looking forward to anything a year, 2 years. Like they're like, it's sort of a.
There's that 1 or 2 games I can skip them.
But if this happened in the first 6 months of the cycle when they had a game like that, a buzz, it could have generated something similar to what the Wii did, where everybody's like, wow, we have to get this console. There was none of that they started picking up ground last fall when Pikmin came out. There were some mediocre games in there, or a remake like Wind Waker HD, and it was,
it's a remake.
Yeah.
Even Donkey Kong did okay.
That was this year. Yeah, and Mario 3D World. Donkey Kong came out in the spring. I mean, they had a series of decent titles, and there was a few small ones in there as well. But I think that's what hurt it, not so much the name.
With what he was saying, this guy.
Because I know you're of the other mind, right?
Yes.
And that's why I thought this was going to be great, because I know you blame a lot of it on the name.
Yes.
Okay.
I actually, in our weekly discussion panel, kind of alluded to it a little bit.
Thingy.
Pause, man.
From the average consumer, not us who are in the know checking IGN and websites and Zelda Dungeon and everything every week,
Can't
every
spell
day.
ignorant without IGN.
Nice.
You can't spell Game Genie without GenCon.
The average consumer, okay, like with
it was so dumb.
Ignorant at least starts with IGN.
Oh man, that's good stuff. Woo!
That's good. That's going up on his site. Watch. It's gonna be a little banner.
You can't spell GenCon without or Game Genie. Oh,
I don't
man.
know what that means.
I don't know what it means either.
Maybe we should change the name of the show to Game Genie just to use that tagline.
Oh man, it's good stuff. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The average consumer doesn't know how to differentiate between Wii and Wii U. And again, the similar look and design from the hardware standpoint, the logo, the branding that they've done, it's very similar. At least with, we'll use PlayStation as an example. PlayStation 4 is different than a PlayStation 3. The Xbox, it's another case of stupidity there. But I think it's too close to branding to their previous product. At least with the DS to a 3DS, you're adding some type of number in there so people can.
A lot of people didn't get that right away.
They didn't either, but
Yeah.
But I think that's a big factor to the average consumer who doesn't know about video games, and that's a big population that bought the Wii's.
Mm-hmm.
So when they look over at the Wii U and go, "Well, wait, this looks just like my console. Why can't I play my game on it? Oh, it's got a tablet. Is that the only thing that's different?" They don't understand. They don't comprehend the differences. Nintendo hasn't done a good enough job with branding the new hardware as different than the pre-existing hardware, in my opinion.
I think there's a lot of truth to that, and I think by the time they've remedied that to an extent, but it's a little too late because of what I was saying earlier. It didn't get that traction for a year.
That's exactly what I was going to get to. I think it's somewhere in the middle. I think when it initially started, I think a lot of it was brand recognition, like you said. People didn't know it was different. Nintendo was solely focusing on the tablet, and it looked more like a peripheral for the Wii than an actual new console. They didn't make that distinction. By the time people started catching on and kind of realizing it was a new big deal, they weren't hearing much. They didn't know anybody who bought one. There weren't many games, and there wasn't just that big push. And then we got all the rumblings of the new systems right around the corner. And people were just like, I'll just wait 6 months.
Especially when you have something like, all right.
So I think the games affected it quite a lot,
you
too.
had New Super Mario Brothers on the Wii. You have New Super Mario Brothers Wii U. Again, it's too close.
Well, if it would have been Nintendo's always gotten away with.
But I'm saying, if it would have been New Super Mario Brothers 2, exclusively for the Wii U or whatever the case may be. As long as they're
They did. New Super Mario Bros. 2 was on the 3DS.
Well, but you kind of get what I'm saying. Like if they would have like instead of just
I see what you're
putting the U on there, they could have done more to separate it.
I think that was one of the reasons why it didn't catch on, but I personally think the games was a more important reason, and I also think it's worth mentioning. I think the price point, the highest price point ever for a Nintendo system by $100.
Yeah.
Not counting the Virtual Boy, but I don't even know.
I heard something.
What's the virtual?
I
one?
heard something, but I
I don't talk about that.
It's
What's the Ninja Turtles 3?
it's one of those like fake things that nobody knows, sort of like Resident Evil 4, which we're still waiting for.
Yeah.
Hopefully someday it'll come.
Wasn't the Virtual Boy supposed to be the sequel to the?
It's the Wii U successor.
Yeah.
But then it became the DS.
But I think the price point of $350 when the Wii was only $250 and every other console before it was only $200.
Yeah.
That's too much money, especially for a Nintendo branded system. I think the price and the serious lack of games in that first 8 months is what did it in.
The price, I think it probably affected some people, but I thought it was well done until we found out what the more powerful PS4 was going to cost. I think that destroyed any chance they had at sticking with that price successfully.
That's irrelevant because the first 7 months of the Wii U, we didn't know what the price point was.
That's I thought the Wii U was priced maybe a smidge high. I don't know about 100. Now I think it was priced way too high. Looking back,
Yeah, but like the first 7 months of the Wii U, when it's sort of struggling mightily in April, May, June that year.
I didn't think the price was the problem.
We didn't know anything about the price of the PS4. So
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, you didn't think so? You thought the price? I thought the price was a problem from launch.
I didn't think the price was a problem until we found out what the new. That's what I'm trying to say.
The initial price point of the Wii U is what stopped me from. I had one pre-ordered, and then I saw the price, and I'll wait. Because like Tony's alluding to, I wanted to wait to see what the price points of the other consoles were going to be, and if Nintendo was going to then change its price to reflect a better competitive competitive.
I held off on the Wii U so long, because I was scared, because I honestly thought that the PS4 and the Xbox were going to be in that like $550 to $600 range. I really, really was scared of that. And I'm like, if I'm spending $1,200, Nintendo, I always just get Nintendo for Mario and Zelda. I don't care much beyond that. And
Do you still have his Lego City?
I do.
Bring that back next week.
I got to bring that back.
So Jason can play.
Yeah. But aside from that, my Nintendo stuff doesn't get very much use. So I wasn't going to spend $400 to play Mario. I was just going to wait.
So what you're saying is it wasn't a system seller for you?
Yeah.
No, I knew I was going to get one eventually, and when I found one cheap enough, I got it. But then I was pleasantly surprised with the pricing of the other systems too. They were cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So, America. Fuck yeah. Final thoughts.
I wholeheartedly disagree with everything that Mas says, just despite him.
You're a
I agree with Jason. I agree with his disagreement.
Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting thing because, the guy's kind of just reiterating what a lot have been saying.
I have a point to jump in here.
Go ahead.
Remember how laughable the Wii name was?
Yes. Well, after it was supposed to be called the Revolution?
Yeah. And the Wii was a joke of a name, but it came out at a cheap price point and had amazing games from launch.
Yeah. You got
So
to
thus,
name quick.
Doesn't matter the name.
Yeah.
If they had a good launch and a good price point, all would be forgotten.
I was really expecting, because I didn't know what he was talking about leading into this. I thought this guy was going to bury Nintendo, but it's a real fluff piece. Like he doesn't.
No, he
really,
likes Nintendo,
Huh?
and he's still working with third parties. But
that's what I'm
with
saying.
Nintendo.
Like it was real. Like it's a piece of shit. I was expecting that, but no, he was just.
That's
like,
easy to expect now.
Yeah, it is. It is, unfortunately, and it's sad that my mind.
Oh, from commentators.
By the way, Yoshi has a name, full name.
Nope.
Yeah.
He's lying. He's making it up.
Mario is not human.
Your face isn't human.
Link almost killed Princess Zelda. The patch.
with his Master Sword. Yes!
There was a spider sitting next to her.
He penetrated too deep.
Whoa.
With his Master Sword.
This just took a turn for the worse.
It's all right. That's what Forward Compatible's here for, man. It's to get all the goofy out.
Yep.
All right.
We'll
Thanks.
end on that.
Yeah. This has been episode 130. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Catch us next week. Same time, same place. Cover your ears.
If they can figure out how to post the video.
Oh, hold on.
No, it's done.
There's a slight possibility.
We can't figure out how to post the video.
You're really going to turn it off?
No, I'm going to zoom in on you.
Oh, okay. So there's a slight possibility there's no episode next week. Jason's going to GenCon.
Gen.
He's going to Gen Game, which you can't spell without game cheating. So it's up to me and Mark and Moss, and we don't know if we're gonna be able to pull all this off without Jason. Who's Mark? He's like Resident Evil fucking 5 and fucking Turtles 3 and what was the other one? Virtual Boy. We don't talk about that shit. Mark, we don't talk about him. So there may or may not be an episode. So if nothing gets posted next week, don't fret. It's because Jason wasn't here. We couldn't figure.
Sexy Cast version 3.
Oh God, the third Sexy Cast. So all right, guys, we'll see you hopefully next week.